Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. You're joining me from the most echoiest room in the freaking world. It's time for challenge review. So yeah, basically, like I've just said, it's challenge review time. I'm going to try and treat the echo as much as I possibly can, but the echo in this room is horrendous. You're joining me from our very new studio space. It's in its messy baby. I'm not even going to turn the camera around. It is so messy, but you know, that's what we're doing. So we don't have any art on the walls apart from some prints up here. So March's challenge. The challenge for March that we're going to review today is Pano. It was Pano month, which is just insane. So the inspiration for this month was basically the image of Frecky on the lock. Hang on, let me just go grab that. It was this one. Can you see that? Don't know. Can you see it? Who knows at this stage? So the inspiration for Pano month was this print. This one here. So this is Frecky on the lock, one of the wolf dogs from Project Wolf. There's a video about that, and it was really cool because it got a little finalist rose there, which is so adorable. So yeah, I did well at print comp. Really happy with that one. And yeah, I'll just pop all my crap on the floor. Hokey cokey. So Pano month, I told you guys how to make a pano. If you missed that one, go ahead and look at the what the heck is a pano and how to do one video, which I'll link above right now. But we need to go through the challenge entries. And this month was really different because panos don't go well with Instagram. It's just not a thing, like, ever. And so looking through these is going to be difficult, but you should be able to see all of the wonderful entries that we've got on the screen right now. In terms of these shots, usually I've been grouping the entries. Now these are obviously just Instagram screenshots, and just as an FYI, because I forgot to mention it before now, I don't have time to go through every single image in the monthly challenge review video, so please don't be disappointed if I don't critique your image. It's just we just don't have the time. If you're new here, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. Also just consider entering the next monthly challenge. I'll go through details about that at the end. Okay. Recently, I've been grouping the entries up into kind of similar trends, but aside from this group, which we're going to just might as well kick things off with, there isn't really a trend that I can group things into easily this time, which is kind of cool and also kind of a little bit frustrating. So this group that we've got on the screen right now, these are all really good panos. All of the panos that you can see are correct. If your image is not in here, chances are it was not a pano, it wasn't a 2:1 aspect ratio. But these ones all are. The issue that we have with these images here, unfortunately, is that they're just a little bit too dark. And you'll be able to see that when you kind of look at them alongside the other images within the set. So that's where we're kind of going with this one. Now, I just want to say I was going through and collecting these entries, and I was genuinely really proud. I almost shed a tear because of how proud I was of you guys for doing this. You've done so well, really, genuinely so well. I am so proud of you, every single one of you, okay? Pull myself together. By the way, do you like my mug? My grandma got me it. Okie dokie. So now that we've got some tea, we may as well commence. I'm going to go through and just try and kind of give a general assessment. It's very difficult to see the images because they're so pixelated, because they were so small, but we can get a really good feel for a lot of them, and so I think that we can just kind of run through. There's some really strong images, there's some slightly weaker images. I'm just going to pull out the red ones that I had up earlier on. I've not gone through and shortlisted, I've not gone through and picked a winner. I don't know what we're doing yet. We're just going to go through them. Okay, it's like old times. So I literally really think this is really creative. I do think this is creative. I just feel that this would be better not in the image. Like, I'm wondering, like, why is this here? Because the story is this, right? If we just had this and the horizon was straight into the land underneath it and this was not there, that would be a much stronger image. By the way, if you're wondering how to remove stuff like that, then we've got videos on 5 ways, I think, to remove things in Photoshop. I'll go ahead and link that above now. So this one I really like as a reflection. There's quite a few reflection shots in here. I think this is a good reflection. I think that the colors are nice. My only, I guess, criticism of this one is that I just get the feeling I'm a little bit claustrophobic up this top edge. Just wish we had a little tiny bit more on the top of that tree. Oh my goodness, Picky Patricia is like seriously out today, isn't she? I could only apologize, guys. Okay, so this one, I just really wish we had eye contact from the subject here. It's really the only thing that kind of lets this one down. I wish we had eye contact, and I wish we had a tiny little bit more space underneath the pupper. This pano is one of probably my favorites. I just love the light in it. It's so vibrant. It's very like golden hour, but meets the summer and makes me want to go on my holidays. And also it's a really wide pano. I think this has been really well shot. The dog's been placed very nicely within the frame. I actually think it's a really sweet shot, so well done. Hats off to you. Absolutely hats off to you. This one is of a bison? I don't know. I just feel like we're shooting from so high up. I just wish that we were a little bit lower down, but the composition of this is really good. We've got space for the subject to move into. I would argue you could have come down below this little mound and the image would be cleaner because you don't have that chunk there, but what do I know? Oh, this is beautifully shot. What a portrait. What a portrait. Very well shot. Very well constructed. Your layers are fantastic. Foreground, midground, background. Also similarly well shot, this one. I really like this image. It's got some power to it and it just works really, really well. There is no clipped highlights, no clipped shadows. The composition works extremely successfully. We've got the curve here, we have a gap, we have the subject, we have the shadow. What could improve this shot? I'm not sure. I would maybe suggest having a little bit more on the end of that shadow. And I guess my next question is, was something removed from here? Because there is a shadow here, but it could also just be coloured floor. So I'm not going to judge, and I'm not going to kind of say that. I really like this one. I think you guys are so brave doing portrait panos because it is not easy. It is not easy, but this is well done. You've got framing elements in the trees. I just wish we had the puppers of the rear. Like, this just seems like the puppers of the rear is gone, which is a shame, but everything else I love. This one section of bokeh is distracting for me, but I think it's a great shot. I can't go through every single image. I'm going to have to cherry pick, guys, because we're just not going to have the time. Oh, I should have done the grouping method, but there wasn't any similar groups to group things into, so it's just a bit difficult for me. So I'm doing the best I can. Please forgive me if this video is a little bit hit and miss. I really like this one. I just feel like this is the story, and this doggo is just kind of not involved in that. It would be amazing if this doggo was here, kind of stood behind, and then it was layered. But also I love the fact that you've got this gap and you're utilizing the track. It's great. I would have preferred if this log was removed, the stick was removed beforehand, so like when you're shooting, do a bit of a scene cleanup. That would have been super, but I think this is well shot regardless. Really sweet shot, genuinely. This is a really good one actually to look at. So when you're in a situation like this, guys, where you have the subject looking super, this rock, which I'm guessing is part of the story, and then you have a tree, but then you have a gap behind the tree. Come in to the tree, right? Let me show you. Okay, so this is the before, and that's the after. So with the tree being the end of the shot, your eye doesn't go past that and off the scene. So that's the after, and that's the before. So before and after. So in the before, your eye will read the scene and it will go over here, look at the stick, but you're looking at this gap to see what's behind there, when actually, if that's not there, you're capped. It caps you on the edge of the frame. So that would have been a more successful crop for this image, and it would have still met the pano principle. So hopefully the tree tip is helpful. This is really well shot, actually. Really, really well shot. Good lines, diagonals happening. I love a good diagonal. Oh, it's my favorite thing. This one is just like, there's a lot going on in this one. I feel like my eye is kind of going, whoo, like all over the place rather than chum straight down. There's just a lot to look at in this one. Lovely little stun burst. I think that's super. The dog's doing a really nice pose, but there's just a lot going on, a lot for me to look at. I kind of wish the doggo was sat underneath this, like sat here, and then it would kind of fall within part of the scene. Yeah, that would be my thoughts on that one. This is well shot, nice separation from the background, good technical skill, white balance is looking solid. It's a good shot. This is a really good shot. This is like disc action. I can see from the watermark that it is a Melissa image. I would expect nothing less from an MTog, who is an amazing member of our premium community. Congratulations, Melissa. So anyway, this is a good one. We've got no clipped highlights. It's looking good. The fact that the dog's head passes over the most distracting section of the background is actually really good. You've got a V happening here in the background. This is good. Everything's kind of just works with this. Would I have preferred a different colored disc? Yes, but I can't have it all. It's a perfect action shot. This is great. I like the fact that we've got some bush happening or a little bit foreground, but it's at the top, and that kind of throws my brain, but I'm here for it and I like it, and I like things to be, you know, making me think. I wish we had the horse's feet in this, but then at the same time, I'm okay with it. My main issue is that the horse's head, this kind of like tree is coming like straight out of the head, which doesn't help the situation, but it's well shot, it's well constructed, and you have got the tree capping it off on the left, so congratulations and well done for that. This one, I wanted to pick up on the angles a little bit. This looked like it was quite a difficult one to shoot, so I 100% understand that and I get it. My issue is that we look like we're leaning to the left, so there's like a left tilt here, there is a left tilt on the door, there is a left tilt here, but then the steps are quite flat. Now, old buildings do move and lean, and I understand that, but I think this is a perspective thing rather than a wonky building thing, because the lines are just kind of going a little bit all over the place. So it may be worth having a look at the Urban Portrait Straightening Fix one-click thing. I'll link a video to that above, which would help with this. This is perfect framing. What perfect framing? Really, really good effort with this one. I think that's actually really good. Well done with the frame. The frame is super. Good symmetry on this one. This is good symmetry. Well done. This one, the white balance looks like we might be a little bit cool, a little bit magenta. So this doggo should be around about that color. This is a good pose. It's a good strong one. I love your lines. Well done for shooting down the lines. Difficult with the Pano to get all of your lines sorted. My main issue with this one is that it looks like you've added blur, but you've not left the focal planes. So this is a really important thing that I just want to bring up because I see it a lot, and it's one of the main issues that happened in the TOG Awards, okay? So if you don't know, we did the first kind of session of the TOG Awards, and the trophies look hella amazing. Sophia Hutchinson won with her image called Frozen Vigilance. It achieved a unanimous score from the judges in the high 90s. So yeah, congratulations to Sophia. But one of the main issues that we saw across the nearly 700 entries was that the focal planes had been cloned, and then or something had been removed from the image and the focal plane was disjointed. So in the video that I did on depth of field, I'll link that above, in terms of how depth of field works and what it's like, you end up with 3 zones, right? Foreground blurry, then it goes into focus where your focus is, and then it goes back into the background, again blurry. But that focus strip should be in focus, perpendicular to the camera, all the way across the scene, regardless. And in this situation, you can see on the screen that we've got focus where the dog is, but then it goes into blur. With physics, that doesn't work. It's not possible. So always make sure if you're adding a blur or if you're removing things, you're doing your cloning, you're doing a cleanup, that you repair the focal plane. It needs to be sharp straight the way across there, okay? It's important. With this one, we've got like this bits of grass coming up, but I just wish we had more of the foreground because there's no bottom on this frame. If the image was short chunk lower, remove some of this blue sky and instead have some of that foreground in, the image would have much more context, which is always a win. This is a great shot. It's a great shot. This one, I wish we had eye contact from the dog or the dog. This image is gorgeous. It is so well done. I'm so proud of you, whoever took this. I'm really, really proud of you with this. This is an amazing image. The bokeh is perfect. The framing is perfect. The natural scene is perfect. I think we've got a little bit of duplication left to right, but yeah. So the left side is being cloned to the right side, and I totally am here for that decision. I think that was the right call. My issue is that the dog just looks disinterested. And we just needed something from them. If they would just like glance their eyes up longingly towards the side, then this would be 100 times more powerful as an image. But you're doing all the right things in all the right places, and I love it. This one, unfortunately, there is a tree coming straight out of the head. Be really careful that you don't have trees coming out of the heads of the puppers. If the pupper was in a gap, it would work much, much better. Hats off to you. Well done. You're framing with trees, which is 10 out of 10. Yeah, no, I really do like this one. I'm unsure about a little dot that's there. I wonder whether that would be better if it was not there. But I think this is a really powerful image regardless. One thing that frustrates me with this image, and it's absolutely nothing the photographer could have done realistically in this situation where a horse is moving at speed, but man, it would be so much better if the overreach boots were not on the horse. And I know you've got no control over that, but the horse is naked, right? No tack, nothing, galloping free across the beach, but then it's got overreach boots on, and they just ruin it for me a bit, which is such a shame because everything else I'm totally here for and I love it. And I'm wondering, if you weren't horsey, would you notice them? And if you were judging like a print comp, would you know? Well, yeah, you would. Yeah, the judges would notice them. But then I'm wondering, could we change the color of them to be grey, and then would anybody notice them? Is this strong? This is strong. It is strong. We can't lie. This is just super. I just love this. I think this is gorgeous. I really like this shot. Oh, come on, give some critique. Jesus Christ, come on. Patricia, where are you? My only criticism for this one. No. No. No, I refuse. This is really nice. I like this one a lot. The light's been mapped really well. I just think there's maybe a little bit too much on that light effect at the back. This is quite a hard one to see because it was quite small. But there's a lot going on in this one. And the fact that this was shot as a pano and all of the wires and the kites are all intact is mad. Like, that is crazy. So this is a very technically difficult pano to do. I know you guys can't really see it very well, but technically this is exceptional. This is very well shot. Love this. Fore, mid, back, lovely gaze. We've got the lean to the left of the shot, and therefore we've got the space. Compositionally very strong. This one I find really interesting. You've got a great horizon line, 10 out of 10. The composition is very good. The fact that the dog is in the ground when there's a ball next to it makes me laugh a little bit. But I think this is really super. I just wish we had a little bit of cap on that highlight. Okay, I recognise the doggo. So already I know who we are. I know who we are. Brilliant composition. This area of the shot is 10 out of 10. Such a shame that area of the water ripple is over the reflection, because that would have been 100% 10 out of 10 on that one for me. This dark circle here is just something I would whip out. I'm not going to do a full level. I can't do a deep critique now. It's not the time of the place. It's not the time of the place, Jess. I feel like there's less echo if I talk into my mug. I kind of like the fact that you've duplicated your logo, but I don't think it's needed. I think one watermark was fine. And with this one, I feel like the dog looking down or the dog looking straight at us would be stronger than the dog looking slightly off towards the left-hand side. However, this location is amazing. The shot is fantastic. It's extremely imaginative. It's been very well shot. It's maybe slightly dark. I'd love to have a little bit more light in there. But, I mean, that's not even half a stop. So, yeah, it's here nor there, really. But I think that this is really imaginative and it's great work. This is a happy doggo running through the beach. Unfortunately, on this one, this is an example of a horizon line going straight through the head of the dog or the subject. It doesn't have to just be a dog. You want to re-angle yourself so that the head is either completely above or completely below the horizon line, rather than it going, ow, I just hit myself. This one, the pupper is just a little bit too much at the left-hand side. We needed like a little bit more on the left. This is super. We just need a little bit more space below. Popper's not got enough to stand on in this one. And this is ice skating on a lake, which terrifies me. Because what if you fell through? I mean, I'm not all right with that kind of risk. Yet I go and gallop a horse around the countryside. I like this. I like the light. I think it's good. I think the flare's good. I think it makes sense. The silhouette-ness of it is good. I'm just not loving the bush that's over the subject. If the bush was here, I'm fine with it. I'm here for it. But the bush is over the people in the shot, and that makes it difficult for me. Now, that will have taken a bloody hour to film. I don't know if we're even still going at this stage. I've got someone coming for a one-to-one, so I need to crack on. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything's selected, and then I'm whittling down to a short list. This is hard. This is hard. But I have to go with impact, 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 Pano, impact. I cannot get any further down than this, and so I therefore refuse. Everybody's a winner. No, they're not, because that doesn't help anybody. Who's going to win the pin? So we've got the gold pin, the silver pin, and the bronze pin. These are not awards, okay? So if you win one, you can't say you're an award-winning photographer, but you do end up in Tog Talk, the members-only magazine. So Tog Talk basically has a little bit about the image and how it was shot and so on and so forth, and you can opt to either reply or not to our request for information. It's absolutely completely up to you. Pano month, we've got to think practically here. The horizon, I just wish it was a little bit lower down in that one. I just really, really like it. There's like little things in each one, and so I want to go for the ones where there's not a little thing. So that super bright area above the head for me, brutal, 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 brutal. This one, it's I think it's great. Genuinely, I think it's great. It's a comparison situation. This one, I just think the tones in it are fantastic. It's so earthy. I'm totally here for it. Right, screw it, screw it, screw it, screw it. We can't keep going. We'll just. This is why I'm going grey. I swear to God. I look a bit like a teapot. There's a couple that I keep going back to, and I keep going back to, and I keep going back to over and over and over and over again. And so I feel like it has to be those ones. Stop narrowing down. Stop it, Jessica. Angry voice. I'm going to go with gold pin. Congratulations. We'll find out who it is in a second. I'm going to go for all of them. All of them could be gold, which means that basically me picking is a moot point. Silver. I need a bronze. And all of them could have been gold. Let me just pick these and then just look at my picks. So we've got gold, silver. Screw it. Screw it, guys. Screw it. Joint bronze. Joint bronze. Joint bronze is a happening. It's a happening and it's a thing. And I'm going for it. We've got a bronze and a bronze. It's a thing. Let's see who these people are. Do you know what? I really wasn't expecting that. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that from you, Kat. But here we go. I just wasn't expecting that. So gold pin winner is Kat Delat, of course, because it's Kat. Oh my God, I'm like knocking everything. I don't know why I didn't think that was your image, Kat, but hey ho, here we go. So amazing. The Mighty Howler. I feel like we've seen you before in the challenge review. I recognise that, but I can't put my finger on exactly who it is. So congratulations on your silver pin, and then joint bronze goes to Melissa and Frankie of House of Hong Kong. So funny story that, guys, that 3 of these are MTogs. If you don't know what the premium membership is, then go ahead and have a look at that. I'll link to it above and I'll link to it in the description below. This isn't a sales pitch. I'm just going to carry along, move along. Okie dokie. So yeah, I'm gonna do a change. I'm gonna do a change, a plan. Change a plan. So the topic for April was supposed to be self-portrait. It was planned out and we had a plan and it was self-portrait. But I'm conscious of the fact that another creator is running a similar, not necessarily a challenge, but more of a focus month. And I just think, you know, if I can move my plan, then that would help. So instead of self-portrait in April, which we'll look at the following month, so you guys all know that, we're actually going to do May's challenge now. So what is May's challenge? I can't remember. Leading lines. Strong. So May's challenge is leading lines, which is a compositional challenge. So obviously I'm loving that. Composition is life. So if you don't know what leading lines are, it is something that I have discussed previously in the composition video from way back at the start of this YouTube channel, where things were a little bit less polished. So I'll go ahead and link to that if I can, and if I've got enough above, and if not, then I'll link to it down below, and also I'll pop it on the end screen. So if you just hang on to the end, it will come up as a link. Leading lines are in that. So if you don't know what leading lines are, essentially they are lines within the scene. They could be natural or man-made that direct you towards the points of interest, right? The focal points of interest. The more leading lines you can get, the better, but don't overdo the whole line thing, because it can then maybe become distracting. So leading lines is the challenge for May. All entry instructions will be linked in the blog post below. So go ahead and have a check of that. Hopefully I'll join you back here next week in a little bit less of an echoey space. But don't count on it, because we still need to finish our acoustic treatment. But it's really great to be here. I'll hopefully do a studio tour. Thanks so much for joining me. Man, these are so hard. And I'll see you all again really, really soon. Adios.